I am very excited to introduce our next speaker, Julie Smithson. Julie is the co-founder of MetaVRse, a code-optional platform that makes it easy to create and share interactive 3D experiences instantly on the web. She is also the co-founder of the XR Collaboration Resource Guide, an interactive and comprehensive online tool that helps companies utilize XR collaboration and remote work tools for business. And Julie is also the chair of XR Women, a global collective of women in virtual and augmented reality devoted to creating space for all in the metaverse. But that's not all that Julie does. Her other roles have included host of the Polly's WebXR Awards, co-president of the VR/AR Association Toronto, co-chair of the VR/ARA Education and 5G committees, TEDx producer, and XR for Learning podcast host. We are very excited for you to be here with us today, Julie, so I'll let you take it away.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Whenever people read what I do, I kind of go, wow, that's it's a lot of things, but we all have a journey, right? And we all have, where we've been and how we got here. And I'm really excited to be able to present to your audiences today a little bit about my journey in the metaverse. Welcome to the metaverse, the future of XR. My name is Julie Smithson, and I don't need to go over again, who I am and where I've been and what I'm doing, but I'm really excited to present to you all of the different things that I'm involved in, and I guess join in on the mission of your own personal doing of how you become involved in the metaverse. So this is a little bit of a start of my story. And back in 2010, my husband and partner and we actually created the world's first touchscreen DJ controller system called the Emulator. And this is us in the show The Dragon's Den, which we went on to try and get investment. But that was kind of my first introduction into immersive technology. And that's where I'm going with this. So I go way back into 2010, learning all about how interactions become so important, and of course music is kind of a personal passion of mine. So this was an exciting company that we built, and we built out about 500 of them and put them out into the world, into the music clubs and that sort of thing. And shortly after that, we had a couple of kids, and one of our daughters became an entrepreneur at 10 years old, and she designed the Love Sandal, which was inspired from seeing my ugly tan lines, and she wanted to design sandals that left a heart-shaped tan line on top of your foot. Well, through this journey of Abby's growth of her company, we knew how important it was for the next generation to understand entrepreneurship skills and being able to design and think creatively, and have their own businesses. And this was part of my journey through this emulator program, and learning about how fast technology was going to be taking over. So our personal mission became to inspire the next generation to think and act in an economically, socially, and environmentally responsible way. And we knew all of these immersive technologies were coming together, and we needed to be able to teach the entrepreneurship skills of that next generation. And that's why I've made a lot of the things that I've done a personal mission of mine, like being a part of the communities that I'm involved in, to help everybody understand, first of all, learn about the technologies, but also the education behind it. So one of the journeys that I think this group will be really interested in was back in 2016. When we started the Metaverse, we actually made a VR photo booth. It was one of the first projects that we made when we formed the company MetaVRse. And our client wanted to be able to go into a booth and take a picture of people in a room with a 360 camera, because they were just coming out at the time. And for the purposes, it was a Samsung client, and their Samsung camera came out. So they wanted to, how can we have something fun? So we actually built these VR photo booths that were displayed in shopping malls to show off this new camera. And this was a project where, we started to play around with the green screen, and okay, if we could drop the camera dropping the camera in the middle, you know, what kind of light source we'd have to build for something like that. And we actually did make a customized lighting source, and then the camera sat on top of it and took a photo, a 360-degree photo of the people in the booth, and then the output was shared through it was an actual email share with a tiny planet spinning. There was a couple of different ways that we shared it, and this was, you know, this was back in 2016, and we really were discovering at that time, you know, spatial design. You know, taking things and showing them spatially, because we're now dealing with 360 degrees. So you can kind of see the lighting source there in the background, but we had this at festivals, and we did it at street festivals and corporate events, and they would come in, and then they could also see themselves in that VR headset in the room that they were just in, with a backdrop that was completely different. So it was a lot of fun, but what that led to was understanding more about spatial design and spatial computing, really understanding the placement of things and how, you know, being able to take photos and then understanding the space beyond the center. So this kind of led to, so we did projects over the last couple of years. I think I counted 85 since 2016, where several of them were world firsts. In the last year and a half, we merged with a company that came to the release of our current product, the MetaVRse Engine. And, you know, at MetaVRse, our mission is to unlock the power of XR for everyone. So we created a game engine that could apply to developing 3D on the web and executing it just as, you know, in multiple use cases that show off training or education, remote assistance, retail experiences. And our engine does publish right to the web. It offers a platform that works everywhere. And, you know, right now when you build something in design, in 3D design, usually you have to publish it to an app. And through our engine, you're able to publish it immediately to the web. And that, you know, that provides that ubiquitous access that everybody, you know, everybody can have. And it breaks a lot of barriers when you're launching experiences that, that you want to show for the purpose that you're building. So the metaverse, I'll take a look at this screen here. And if you scan any of these QR codes, it'll take you to some of the experiences that we've built out in our editor. The first is a virtual showroom where you can go through and inspect the shoes. You can change them from purple to red to yellow. The second one is an ultrasound training machine, and you're able to play with the dials and watch a demo of the ultrasound being used with the patient. The Nike shoes, you can customize your own shoes in this one and change the laces, the toe slips, and basically design your own preference fashion. The solar system is an educational experience where you're able to go and learn about the planets and you know, see where they are in placement of the solar system to each other. You can see some comparison charts and spin it around, and it really does give a new meaning of educational learning. So all of these experiences we were able to build out on our engine, and as I said, publish to the web right away. Here's again the educational one where you can take a look at the solar system and the Earth's core, and being able to discover all of these things, you know, right from the device, where we have over 7 billion 3D enabled devices out there. This now expands that understanding of spatial interaction, and it's in the hands of so many people. So again, just quickly, the virtual 3D showrooms, this is what it looks like here for you to go through, and you can interact with all of the items. We're also doing a lot of training with some companies, and everything that we're working on and everything you see in the showrooms are built out of configurators. And configurators are what changes things into, you know, it turns it on, it turns it off, it changes color, it spins it, it adds a video, it stops a video. So when you're thinking about spatial design, they all basically interact with a configurator, and you can influence anything from a photo to a video. And it really does expand the involvement of what you're doing inside that space. Now, all of those experiences now all can be connected to dashboards where analytics can be read about the interactions of the users that are experiencing those items. So, so this goes into a little bit of a different play, but it's where those experiences are able to give the best value of education and training, and then also understanding, you know, the user knowledge that that user has obtained. Do they know what they're talking about now? Did they understand? Did they comprehend? And it really does explore that Z dimension that we never had before. And it's teaching us things about the users to help them have a better experience. And obviously, you know, if it's a safer workplace, or just understanding that they know what they've just experienced. So the Metaverse portfolio companies, basically we have the Metaverse product, the engine itself, and then we do projects, and we're creating training solutions for companies, different virtual showroom experiences. XR Ignite is a bit of our community hub. We started a while ago to 2019 to support the community of startups and helping them, you know, working with enterprise companies through their innovation stages. XR collaboration, I will share that in just a second, but the XR for Business, XR for Learning podcasts. XR for Learning is my podcast, and Alan Smithson, my partner and husband, he did XR for Business. And I actually learned a lot from the guests he had on that podcast. He's going to kick it up again, but there's over 110 interviews. And he interviews all of the top enterprise companies on what their plans were for, you know, for this technology in their companies. And it was really interesting to learn about the different perspectives. So a great learning source of the community and different companies that are doing things. So if you're interested in the MetaVRse Engine, this is how you sign up for your own free account. You can try it out and then start to play around with it. I do want to talk about XR collaboration. This was a project that came together last March, as soon as we all went into lockdown. These great companies came together, and we basically produced a resource guide that helped people understand remote collaboration. So you can find it on xrcollaboration.com. We did just do a recent release, and we updated it. The resource guide is about 110 pages long. It gives every single company, industry, application understanding, you know, how best to start to communicate when we were all sitting at home remotely. And there's also a directory of the landscape of how many platforms there are out there that can host different events and conferences and meetings and that sort of thing using immersive technologies. So there's actually over 200 of them. And we've got a directory that's starting to align their, you know, who they are and what they're doing so that they can help you. Just mentioning, this is part of the resource guide. All of these different things are in here if you're collaborating for the first time, if you want to know more about privacy, safety, and security. designing XR accessibility for inclusion, 3D models and assets. All of these were written by people in our community. So we were really proud to release this with the support of our partners. Sorry, once again, this is the ecosystem. Believe it or not, all of these companies host an XR collaboration platform. One way or another, they are hosting people online, whether it's in a virtual and augmented reality experience or mixed reality experience, and through various industries and verticals. Again, the platform directory has a filter search for what you're looking for, and also it leads right into the directory of those platforms. And just recently we released the XR Hardware Hub, where there's a listing of all the VR devices that are out there and released. Lastly, I'd like to talk about the XR Women group that I'm a part of, which just recently came to be. Just before Christmas, there were a couple of women that we basically said we need to have a place where women could come and just be together and learn from each other, inspire each other as we go through this digital transformation. And it came together with allies as well. And together with Karen Alexander, Sarah Klein, and Sophia Mashasha, we created XR Women. And we actually meet every Wednesday in the iLearn campus. So we all attend as avatars from 11:30 until 1:30. We are there, and we have every week is planned out. We just recently did a session. Every Wednesday actually is a self-care Wednesday, the first of the month. So this past session was about empowerment in my skin. But we've got a speed networking session coming up. We've had talks about healthcare, about art and design. There's been XR Women funding programs that have been listed, and we always go through the process of having a meeting every week, welcoming everybody into the campus, and connecting with every woman to see what they're doing and learn from them and honor what they're doing and share with everybody the great work around XR technologies. There's some fascinating things coming down the pipeline, especially with NFTs. Like just in the matter of 2 months, and NFTs have become such a buzzword, and the inquiries of development around this are coming in fast and furious. So we decided to have a session the other day just to let's talk about this, because innovation was taking place so quickly. So the mission is to inspire, educate, and empower, and we make sure that there's a balance of gender diversity out there and inclusion, and we welcome anybody that is listening that's a woman. You are certainly welcome to join us. And as I said, we're there every week, rain or shine, or avatar or no avatar, we're there every week. And I'm really proud of this group because they're coming together behind the scenes to make sure that there's content programming there. And there's a lot of inspiring things happening with mentorship and education, and trying to help people learn about all of these technologies that are changing so much in so many different ways. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is the Pollies, the WebXR Awards. So about 6 months ago, Ben Irwin, a great person in the ecosystem, came to me and he said, Julie, I want to put on a WebXR Awards ceremony to honor all of the people who have been developing for WebXR. And so, you know, for myself, I still had to learn about WebXR, even though, you know, our platform, sure, it runs on WebXR and it runs immediately on the web, but there are so many facets to WebXR in the back end of all these different people who are building the frameworks and building out all the things that are possible to be able to run experiences on the web. So we came together with a great group of people, and on February 20th, we hosted the first ever Pollies, And it was held not only on 2D, but it was then fed into 3D worlds, like the Engage platform, where people could view it in there. And it was fascinating to be able to honor all of these great people who had brought this technology forward into our ecosystem. So just recently, last week, May 25th, another group came together, same group, and we put on the WebXR Developer Summit to teach people all of the different things around WebXR. And they're releasing all of the videos, which I'm happy to follow up. There's going to be a full channel of all of the different recordings. And we talk about all of the different aspects of WebXR being applied to entertainment, to education, low stack level, high stacks, very code centric, backends. But the great thing is that we're going to take this information now and then evolve from that into another summit of creativity and business, and how do we pull all this technology together. So it's great to be on the forefront of this technology, and I'll be honest with you, I learn every day. I expect to learn every day, and I try to surround myself with smart people so that I can learn as much as I can. Trevor Flowers hosted this last one, and all of these great people and companies were a part of it. So I would like to close off by, there's been a lot of content that I've filled in here, but just saying that being creative is the most powerful skill, and being able to apply any kind of spatial design and application into these new technologies to build immersive experiences. It's possible for everyone to be a part of that, and to have the tools to be able to do that. And that was part of our mission, is to make sure that XR was available for everyone to create. And I guess I'll leave it at that and see if there's any questions. But thank you so much for this presentation and having me here today.
All right, thank you so much, Julie. And we have Julie here with us now for some live Q&A. Hi.
Hi, Rachel. How are you?
I'm good.
Hi,
how
everybody.
are you doing?
I'm good. Good. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Well, great presentation.
Thank you.
I'm just so impressed with all the different areas that you're working in that are connected to WebXR. And just to kick things off for our Q&A here, I'd love to hear, as we look into the future, and I think as many of us today are, our minds are worrying, thinking about how can we start to embrace WebXR with the things that we're doing. What areas do you see VR and AR really excelling in when it comes to WebXR offerings?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it more so in the retail space, in the open marketing space, where I guess enterprise isn't quite ready for that, because they're still dealing with a SSO and their own applications of enterprise. So I see the retail and marketing industries heading down the path of WebXR, being able to access something so that they can inspect it if they're shopping, or if they want to see if something fits in their space because they want to buy it. Training applications and those types of things, they're still behind locked doors. So the enterprise isn't really seeking that out right now. This is where, it's that immediate B2C model. If you want to reach a customer, you need to break those barriers and use WebXR to gain it, to put it in their hands as soon as possible without having to download an app, because nobody likes to do that. And, unless you're being evaluated for your role in training, then, you just want to see what those shoes look like, and you want to see what they look like on your feet, or that couch. What does it look like in your living room? They don't want to download anything. So that's the industry that it's heading down first.
Yeah, less friction and just making it easier for people to jump into these experiences is something that is very exciting to see. And that actually leads me to another question for you. So your XR resource collaboration guide, I think it's so, I know it's something that I want to send to clients or just use for my own education so I can explain things better. And I thought it was really interesting how you mentioned that came about like right before the pandemic. Is that right?
It came together because
Same
of the
time.
pandemic. Yeah, it really did. You know, together with our partners, Deutsche Telekom, Qualcomm, Accenture, there were some experts that were already in that field. And we, you know, we said, because we were already working in that space, I was already in a virtual platform talking to somebody. We already knew all these people. And then it was like, oh my gosh, we need to get this in as many hands and as, you know, this resource in everybody's hands, because everybody was stuck at home and nobody knew how to, you know, what do you mean there's something beyond Zoom? Right? No offense to
Yeah.
Zoom, but you
Yes.
mean there's more. And that's why that was the result of building that resource, was to, you know, that there is more than Zoom, and it's these XR platforms for multiple different industries and applications that, you know, you can start to communicate in other different ways.
Yeah, I feel like many people are experiencing that fatigue of screens, but then at the same time, it's like, as you're saying, there's so many other ways to have remote collaboration and events and, you know, viewing of products and education and everything. So, I mean, what do you think in terms of like, are we advancing more quickly towards a future that is powered by WebXR because of everything we've just all been through, would you say?
Yeah, I would say, you know, COVID's like the catapult of anything that's happening right now. It's either shut something down, or it's advanced something, or it's accelerated, or it's created something brand new, right? So it, you know, COVID was the catapult for this. We were going fast before, but with COVID and everybody becoming remote, we all saw the reason to take a look at these, you know, technologies a little closer, and oh yeah, this works better, and this is more efficient, and this costs less. And, you know, and of course, in the meantime, the generations, you know, the younger generations, including all of us, we were glued to our devices over the last year because we were stuck at home. So of course, now the expectation now is it needs to be digital. You know,
Mhm.
my daughter's upstairs, 16 years old. Their expectations now of response time and that interactivity to capture their attention isn't just education now, it's everything. It's how we do business, how we shop, how we work, you know, what's the fastest means possible. So of course we are you know, this is where technology solves a lot of these things, and that's where the acceleration is coming from, and it's only going to get faster. And, you know, processing powers are becoming faster and faster, you know, brand new chips are being developed, all sorts of things. So yeah, we're not slowing down anytime soon.
I have a question here. Someone is asking, I would like to join and participate in XR Women. How can I do that? Great
Sure.
question.
Yeah, sure. So if you go to xrwomen.com, then you'll be able to see, there's some instructions in there, but every Wednesday we meet in the iLearn campus. So you have to download it onto your computer. I attend on my desktop. I don't go in with a headset, but we go in as an avatar, and we meet every week. And I think this is where it differentiates. Okay, so we're here on Zoom and I can see you, you can see me. But we tend to, you know, when you're an avatar, you actually listen more, right? Because I'm not, you know, I don't have my eyes through my avatar, but I have to listen more. And it's actually, you know, heightened that skill set of mine of, you know, being in a room and listening in a different way. So to join us, you know, at 11:30 to 1:30, we're there, and come as you may and start, you know, taking a look at the programming and stuff that we have coming up. It's really exciting. Hopefully we'll see you there, Ophelia.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I really want to join next Wednesday or one of the Wednesdays. It's every Wednesday, right?
It's every Wednesday. There's no cost. It's a community, right? So we're one of the things that we do is we offer, like, if you want to join our database, then we know that, you know, Rachel Bracker is in immersive technologies in this region, and, you know,
Oh,
she
cool.
knows about these types of things, so that we can help advocate. You know, we call them manels. if there's no women on them, we try and help out those manels so that they
Yes.
become panels. And
Manels,
that's
the first
yeah,
I've heard.
it's not in it, you know, it's just, you know, let us find you somebody that knows their
Right.
stuff. And yeah, we know somebody in this particular region. So we have this database that we're collecting, you know, in the back end. It's not shareable or anything, but to help us help the community so that we can become more balanced everywhere in knowledge.
Oh, I love that. The database sounds very useful. So if you join XR Women, you could apply to be part of that.
Yeah, yeah. And if you just want to come and listen and learn, you know, it's not just for people who, you know, are in XR already. It's, hey, you want to learn about XR, then join this community, because, you know, we're talking about it every week. So you'll find something that you're probably interested in.
Well, thank you for creating such a welcoming space for people to come and learn, because I think, you know, the theme that I'm taking away from your presentation the most is to stay learning, to stay creative. And that's very inspiring, because sometimes it can be daunting thinking about all the new tools that we want to learn and, okay, how best to do that? I mean, being in community can help so much with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you summed it up perfectly.
Well, thank you, Julie, for being here with us today. That's all the time that we have for our Q&A, but we really appreciate you joining us. And
thank you so much for having me. And, you know, if anybody from the audience has a question or anything, reach out on LinkedIn. I'm happy to help guide you. I may not have all the answers, but I certainly have a great network of people that can help. So thanks again.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Well, next up, we have a presentation by Lean Seekers.